I want to tell you just a little bit more about the Forge program. My name is Matt Lantz. My camp name is Dino Light, and I wanted to tell you that the Forge program is a tremendous opportunity that we have, that Pine Cove has provided for you, to learn and to grow. I went to Texas Christian University. So good to hear more TCU Horned Frogs in the room. I just love that, by the way. And when I was a sophomore at TCU, I walked out of Milton Daniel Hall. I was an RA at the time. And my college pastor, he walked up to me and he said, Matt, what are you doing this summer? And I said, well, I don't know. I'd done an internship the summer before, and I wasn't exactly sure what my plans were. And he said, I want you to think about being an intern for me with the college ministry. And I thought about it and had tremendous respect for him, and so I said yes. And for the next 2.5 years, I interned for this man, and he poured his life into me. In very much a 1 Thessalonians chapter 2 sort of way, where Paul says, I was delighted not only to give you the gospel of God, but my very life as well. And he gave me his life for that time frame. And through that experience, I was able to discover not just how to do ministry, not just how to lead, not just how to speak well. I learned some things about myself that if I wouldn't have learned them then, I wouldn't be standing here right now. There are some things about my design, about my theology, about the way that I look at myself, that without those things, I would be hopelessly lost or worse, insecure in the way that I did ministry. And that's why the Forge exists. It exists to develop followers and prepare leaders for a lifetime of good works. We focus on Ephesians 2, verse 10. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works that he appointed for us that we should walk in. And the question is, do you know those good works that God has handcrafted you for? Do you know how to follow God, no matter what? And do you know how he's designed you to carry out the things that he's prepared you for? This is why the Forge exists. We have 3 goals in the program. The first goal is we want to give you insight. We want to make sure that you have eyes to see, not just the stuff around you. We want you to see yourself the way God sees you. We want you to see other people the way God sees them. And we want you to see the world the way God sees the world. That's our first goal. Our second goal is initiative. We want graduates of the Forge to be people who take initiative. When God speaks, they are quick to obey. They don't drag their feet. But because they know who they are and who God is, and because they know how to follow and how to lead out of who they are, they obey. And finally, we want our graduates to be able to influence and to lead. That as you live a life that resembles that of Jesus Christ, you have more influence in the circles of the people that you're with. Now, it's one thing for me to get up here and talk to you about the Forge program. There have been some neat partnerships that we've been able to develop over the years that have really helped us, and I want to share one of them with you. Last summer, if you were with us last summer, we talked about the possibility of receiving academic credit for being in the Forge. I'm excited to announce this time for the first year that we've had our first partnership with Dallas Baptist University. Dallas Baptist University is now offering up to 18 hours of master's level credit to any student that completes the Forge program. That's 9 hours of prerequisites that they'll waive, and then 9 hours of classes that they will grant to any student that comes out of the Forge program. We're tremendously excited about this opportunity for people who want to do the Forge, and we're really excited about partnering with Dallas Baptist. They're a great university, and we're really excited to be working with them. But before I get off the stage, I want to welcome one of my former students. His name is Jake Collins, Dr. Shakel. Jake, come on out here. It's one thing for me to tell you about the Forge, and that's what it is. I've never done the Forge. I've only just directed the program. Jake's done it, and I've asked him to share a few words with you guys about his experience. Jake?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Well, first off, everything that you see on this screen and you've heard Matt say, you will definitely learn when you do this program. But one question I've always asked people when I'm getting to know them, when I'm first getting to know them in any given situation, you may have even heard me ask you this question before, was what biblical character are you most like, and what biblical character you want to most be like? And obviously, as I ask that question, I get that sent back to me a lot, usually before they even answer it. And recently, I feel like if I had to answer that question, the person would be Saul. Not Paul, but Saul. The reason being is because as I look back on my life before the Forge, so much of the man that I was the self-righteous, arrogant punk that Saul was. I definitely can attest to his testimony, and I really, really can relate to who Paul is and who he was, even having my own Damascus Road experience. And so while I can go through and give you all these different points about different things that God has done and has shown me through the Forge, I even want to just share something that God's been showing me recently, as recently as last fall, actually, at the age of 26. So, giving you a little history on myself, at the age of 10, ages 10 to 12, I was anorexic. Yes, I actually have other problems now. I'm working on the other end. So, I was anorexic from the age of 10 to 12, and I don't really remember a whole lot about that whole time period in my life, but I do remember this as I'm remembering back that so much of it was rooted in bitterness and anger. And even though I don't really understand why I did it, I don't understand why I was doing what I was doing, and maybe it was for control or all these different things, I still could never remember why did I come out of it. I don't know. I don't know why I came out of it. And funny, last fall, I was actually listening to another sermon, and something that the Forge really taught me to do was to be able to examine my life, something I wasn't really able to do before. I was only able to examine my actions. I could look at certain passages of Scripture and know, I didn't do this, I should, the end. But I was never able to look into the depths of my soul and apply the gospel in a way to where I could really understand why was I doing what I was doing. So in the fall, I'm listening to a sermon by a man named Ben Stewart, for those of you who go to A&M. Yes, whole blue, gig 'em. And Ben was talking about revenge, and he was talking about how there's two different forms of revenge even. There's the, you hit me in the face, I'm going to hit you back, and then there's the revenge, and this one that I had never even grasped before is you hit me in the face, therefore I'm going to be better than you. How do you like me now? I'm on your radio, Toby Keith, right? So, and I had not realized this about myself, but all throughout my life, I look at everything. America teaches us to perform, and something the Forge taught me how to do is to learn. I knew how to perform. I knew how to perform so well, I got into medical school, okay? I played 7 different sports in high school. I did all the things that the all-American kid's supposed to do, but it's rubbish, absolute rubbish. And I started to realize that all these different things that I was doing, I was trying to make my identity. I was trying to give myself worth and value, something that I didn't believe that I already had, that God had already spoken into my life. I hadn't realized that if I've been bought with the ultimate price of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, no man can buy me. No man can buy me. Nothing in this world can buy me. So why am I prostituting myself to these different things in life? And so not only did it teach me all these things about how to really examine my life, but also it taught me how to realize my new identity and apply that to my life. So I actually want to introduce myself to you. For those of you who actually done the Forge, you'll actually know a little more of what I'm doing. Who am I? I was dead in a soil of destruction, but now uprooted and planted into the soil of God's everlasting grace, an oak by mighty waters. Why am I here? I am here to fight for the souls of men, to be God's tool to remove them from a life of death into a firmly and loves life in God. That's who I am, and that's why I'm thankful for a program like the Forge. If you're not in discipleship, you're not in all these different areas of obedience that you could be walking in, it's not saying you have to do the Forge. Here's a great opportunity to walk in obedience, my friends. You have a great opportunity before you. If you want to know more about it, I'd love to talk about it. You can tell I'm long-winded. I like talking about it. But thank you for your time, and I appreciate you listening to me share. Matt?
So I'm going to be out in the lobby. Jake can join me out here at the table. I wanted you to know that we still have spots available for our class this fall. We run August until May. And I believe we have 2 guy spots and 2 girl spots still available for any of you guys that would be interested in coming and joining us this fall. Even if you're still doing school, you're welcome to take a year off and join us. That's great. We have brochures, cards about the DBU partnership. We also have informational cards if you want to stay on our mailing list. We'd love to stay in contact with you. And then finally, when you guys go to break, if you want to hang around, we're going to show our Israel video of our trip that we took to Israel this past spring, if you guys want to get a glimpse of that. So come talk to us. We'll tell you more about the Forge. Thanks, guys.